All right. Welcome back. That's right. We are going back to school to learn the golden rule here tonight. Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And if you'd like to join us in the text chat, that's over at truthbrigade.com. And any questions or comments for our special guest tonight, 402-237-2525. That's 402-AFR-2525. Our special guest tonight, as I mentioned, is William Whitecrow. We are going to be talking about dream journeys and so much more. So good to have you here tonight, Whitecrow. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, thank you. You've had quite a journey. And before we get into talking about dream journeys, I'd love it if you could share a little bit of your journey with us, how you got to the path you are on that led you to where you are today.
Well, surely. I was raised in between an Irish and Native American family, and we call them 50-50 bars, you know, but it's a joke between ourselves. And we always try to laugh and have a good time. But what started me is, as a young kid, I lived on the Indian reservations, and I lived in Santa Cruz, too, off and on, you know, visiting relatives and things of this nature. I began to understand and see what was really happening in the world at a young age. But then again, I had some very wise people, you know, elders telling me, watch this, pay attention to that. So, and these people had already had many of their freedoms taken away. And medicinally and everything, until 1996, the Freedom of American Indian, they couldn't even really follow their own belief systems or have their ceremonies or rituals, without the federal government being involved in it in one way or another. But the thing about it is, I started seeing this stuff when I was young, and I started paying attention to more of a balance. And this is what they were teaching me. Don't listen to the news, don't listen to the media, this and that. Find a balance in your life, young man. You know, because as all young men, I was out there raising Cain and having a good time and partying like everybody else that was young and everything. Went through the same process as everybody else. Mm-hmm. But there was something always inside me that told me there was something different here. And my journey as a shaman really began when I started seeing changes in society, the hate that was going on, the separation of people, a lot of things getting involved, illnesses and things that I was watching on the res being cured on a regular basis. But in the cities, they were going crazy. I wanted to know why, why these illnesses are getting worse in some areas and not others. And after many years of training and going through many ceremonies and things of this, and it's a life journey. Being a shaman just doesn't happen overnight. Mm-hmm. This is a lifetime of experience, and a lot of those experiences aren't good. You have to go through the ups and downs to understand what other people are going through. But after a period of time, I got older, and I went to Vietnam and stuff of that nature. When I came back, I seen what could happen to a society. I seen what could happen to, families and everything of this nature, and it really touched my soul. And then when I lost my son in my arms, it was a major checkpoint of reality, as I had in Vietnam also, that we're not permanent. Life is short. Live in the now. Understand how to keep a very good, balanced life and really help as many people as you can and pay it forward to as many people as you can. If one person helps me, I'll go out and help 3 others.
Absolutely. That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Kind of keep it flowing. I mean, just the universe, Mother Earth, is always giving to us in abundance.
Mm-hmm. And we have to be grateful, have gratitude every day we wake up for the things we have, because it could be gone the next day.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Your path as a shaman, what does that entail?
Well, it entails looking at life from a different way. We call it SSE, shamanic state of consciousness. Now, where every day your average person would get up and go to town and do their normal things, well, with me, I get up and the first things I do when I walk out my front door, I wake up, is notice the signs. We're very much into our environmental signs. A bird flying by when we're thinking of something could be an answer to a question. Part of the aspect of becoming a shaman is really understanding who you are. Mm-hmm. Where your energy comes from, where your peace comes from, and really understand who I am and what I am, where I've come from. There's a lot of aspects through this, but the big key we have to look at ourselves and our connection with everything around us. We have to understand what Mother Nature has for us. Everything that we need really is here. We will always get what we need, not necessarily what we want. This is part of the big lessons of life, of being a shaman, because we dedicate all of our lives and our times to other people.
Now, is there some type of, say, training? I mean, how does one become, can somebody just say, hi, I want to be a shaman, what do I do?
Well, really, that's a really good question. I've been asked that many times, and each time, I kind of let the Spirit guide me as I'm going along on these shows and everything. And yes, anybody can come up and say, yeah, I want to be a shaman, I want to do this, but the question is, can you hang with it? Can you go through the process? Can you go through the ceremonies? Basically, we have to replicate a death-type situation, where, I was bit by a rattlesnake. I went through a ceremony there. We had to change a poison, as we call it. There's a lot of things we do, but I was trained in a lot of traditional manners, not by going to school, not by any of this type of stuff. I did learn a lot in school, in my college, in psychology, social work, graduated the highest honors in my last 2-year program and stuff. But the fact of the matter is, there are things that you learn by learning from another shaman. This is what I would tell people. Find somebody out there that is in this particular type of business, and I don't like to call it a business because it's actually a way of life. A lot of people out there, it took me a long time to even accept anything when I was helping people, because in my heart and soul, it was that important to give freely. And I had a hard time accepting, gifts or anything when I was helping somebody. So that was another aspect that I had to learn too. I had to learn to accept as much as I had to learn to give. And a lot of people have problems with that nowadays. But the key to learning how to be a shaman is within the self here. And finding somebody that is really connected with the planet. And I'm not talking way out in right-wing or left-wing field, this or that and whatever. I'm talking about really grounded people. And I would recommend traditional Aboriginal peoples of whatever country you may be in. In the United States, find the Native Americans, go with them, understand what's going on. There's a lot of different types of shamanism people are calling out there now. And that's good, But the fact is, learning balance within ourselves, learning the medicines of the planet, the energies of the planet and people, and learning how to deal with these things, and learn how to deal with the spirit world at the same time. Because as a shaman, we have one foot on one side and one foot in this world all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this, White Crow. How did you receive your name?
My name was given to me by a gentleman a long time ago. And let me explain this real quick. We're giving names when we're born. And then as time goes on, it is up to this is clans and this is tribal and things like this. Then a name is given to you as you get older, if you're into the medicine work. And they will turn around and call you something. And if you accept that name, the gentleman that gave me mine knew that I worked with spirits at a very young age. I was seeing things, feeling things. I did not fit in with the regular crowd of people wanting to go out and party and this and that. I was always off to myself. I was with the animals. I was in nature. I was trying to find elders and other people that I could deal with. So that's how I got my name. I had one individual when I was a young man give it to me, young kid I should say, give it to me, and it basically stuck from that point on because I accepted it and I understood its meaning.
Let me read to you a quote from a book. And I can't even remember the name of it. It has something to do with, they were talking about the Akashic records, but Kevin Todeschi, he says here, in the ancient world, a person's name was symbolic of the individual's existence.
Yes.
According to Sir James George Fraser, author of Golden Bough, one of the most extensive volumes on world mythology, there was such a bond between one's name and one's existence that magic may be wrought on a man just as easily as through his name, as through his hair, his nails, or any other material part of his person. So, many of us think, this is your birth name and you're supposed to stay that name, but, I find that, why can't we just choose our own name or have someone give it to us? Because certainly certain things resonate better, as you said, and there could also be black magic in the part of certain names or caring about certain
I accepted my name and knew it was going.
Vibrations.
I accepted my name and knew it was going on and why it was there. As I said, that's how come I accepted it, because I knew the connection. And your name is very powerful with you, each and every one of you out there. You can do numerology and find out what number you are, and it tells you your personality. Astrology, as we were talking earlier, has aspects of being able to do this type of stuff too. But in reality, my name matches me. When every time there's been a death on the res, or there's been a death in my family, I have crows come to my house. And even my kids, my wife, Dad, or White Crow, you come out here, the crows are here. And I literally have to go outside, see the crow, acknowledge that I got its message, and then I watch the direction that it flies. And, because each direction has meanings, has all 6 directions. And this is what I go by. I have such a close connection with the crows, it's unbelievable. It's almost, I know their language and they know mine. When they come by and caw at my place, and then they'll turn and go somewhere else. They're just stopping by to say hi sometimes. So it's very true. The connection between us and Mother Nature and our spirits, the other spirits around us and our spirit helpers is unbelievably tight.
Would it be fair to say that the crow had always been coming up in your life, that
Yes.
that is your animal totem or your animal spirit?
It's always been in my life. I was born, and my totem is supposed to be the wolf and everything, but we all have other animals attached to us, other spirits, as we say, not just one. And it's important for people to understand that, because many creatures will come to you to teach you lessons throughout your life. And it's important to pay close attention to those lessons. It really is.
Absolutely. Okay, so can you what is the significance of the white crow?
The white crow, as you know, crows have a tendency to carry those who have passed on to the other side in many belief systems. Well, sometimes, as they say, and this is on the movie The Crow too, they talk about it can come back and bring messages and finish work that hasn't been done. I believe this 1,000%. I've seen it happen too many times. And the white crow is the good aspect, dealing with the good spirits, those positive things in life on both sides. My near-death experiences taught me more than I could have ever learned in any school or anything else. And, the crow was involved there, too.
Amazing. That's beautiful. We really do need to pay attention to, as you said, that we could have more than one totem, or, there might be times in our lives where certain animals are, showing up in our everyday life for seemingly no reason, but if we pay attention to their message, things just kind of seem to fit in place or fall into place, don't they?
And yes, they do. And I think everybody, if they pay attention, they'll see. Some days they'll see butterflies, and I tell people, don't believe me, do your research and see the meaning of these things, and you will be amazed. Just go buy a book by Farmer. He has a really good book out called, Power Animals and things of this nature. He's got a few good books out. But the deal is understand what these things mean. A long time ago, I didn't know what they mean. What they meant. A bird would fly by, and I had this funny feeling, and I just didn't understand what it was until I started my meditating and started becoming more spiritual, not religious, more spiritual in nature, and things like this, and listening to those subtle voices that are in nature and within myself. And then a whole other world opened up to me.
Well, I'd like to hear about some of because you've experienced quite a bit, and definitely both sides of the fence. Because, when we look at soldiers in Vietnam, we're not exactly equating that to spiritual paths.
No.
Can you talk about your time there and what you learned and how that contributed to the spirituality that you have today to share?
Wow, that's a good question. That's really perfect. Yeah, I can do that. When I was young, I was full of fire, as we say, So Vietnam was the next ultimate step, I want to go fight the enemy and everything just like everybody else. I was that young man, and I fell into that groove that the elite and the government and everybody likes to get us in between that golden age of 17 and 25, and they pump you, they're going to give you weapons, they're going to give you this, even though I lived on the res. As a young man, I still wanted to go out and experience the cities and everything else, and this was part of the journey. But in Vietnam, when I got there, I got off the plane, I carried my duffel bag 50 feet, and I sat down and I sweat. all the way through my clothes, and I go, what did I get myself into here? No, I volunteered. You know, I volunteered. I wanted to go there. I wanted to get involved. And then